Well, here we are on Tuesday. How many people? Yeah, we got a lot of people watching already, so that's very, very cool. And we just have a few things. We have a few things to discuss today. First off, welcome everybody here. Thank you for showing up. That's fantastic. We have the best Final Cut TV live audience of anybody that has live streams. So you're the best. You're the best. So we got some comments already. Nature Photo Studios, greetings from chilly Iowa. It's chilly here too. It's only, let me see what it is. I can't quite see. Oh, you know what? I got the wrong glasses on. No, I got the right glasses. Wait a minute. 38 degrees Fahrenheit. Absolutely. It's definitely cold. We've been running the wood burning stove for days now. Happy post-meridian, Richard. Absolutely. Post-meridian. Look at that. Fantastic. Fantastic. All these nice thumbs up. Greetings from Austria without kangaroo. Not Australia. Yes, Austria is not the same, obviously, as Australia. So, yeah. So, you know, when I do during the Christmas holidays, we're going to have our normal Saturday events, but I wanted to do the special one today because of a couple of leftover deals that are still available. There's 3 specific ones. There's 4, actually. There's 4 of them. So we want to cover these for sure. The 4 that I know of, but we also want to cover Final Cut Pro 11.0.1 bug fix should be out between now and Christmas, before they go on Christmas holiday. I'm anticipating that. That's what I'm anticipating. Nobody's told me anything. I just anticipate that. Yeah, hey, Richard, just brought LumaFusion. Thanks for the heads up. This is the biggest reason that I wanted to do this live stream this week. Through today, LumaFusion, that's normally $29.99, $30. At the end of today, it stops. It's $9.99. Through today, LumaFusion is $9.99. Let's go over here. Let me see what I have. So they say 66% off. I say $9.99. Okay, normally it's $29.99. It's only through today, though. At the end of today, it's back to $29.99. It's a steal. It's absolutely an incredible price. I've never seen LumaFusion this cheap. Now, there's a couple of things. So we already made 2 sales. We bought LumaFusion yesterday, our friend Daniel, and today we have LumaFusion from our friend Sean Beckner. And now here's the thing about buying LumaFusion. $9.99 is 2 months of renting Final Cut on the iPad. Instead of renting, or in addition to renting, I'm not going to say instead of, because you certainly can use both of the applications. If you like the iPad as your main device, okay? If you like it as your main device, why not have both? Why not have both? I don't want to say don't rent the iPad version, but if you have LumaFusion, it's 2 months of renting Final Cut on the iPad, and you have a perpetual license for LumaFusion. Now, there are add-on packs You have to add on multicam and a couple of other things, but the basic application you've paid for, you don't have to pay for it again at this point. Whatever the future holds, I don't know. But $9.99, it has never been that cheap. I highly recommend it to everybody. I don't care if you use it tomorrow. $9.99 is 2 Starbucks coffees or 2 months of renting Final Cut on the iPad. Is it an iPad app? Will it run on the desktop? It's an iPad. Listen, LumaFusion is an iPad, iPhone, yes, iPhone, Android, Chromebooks, and it runs on M1 Macs. It runs on all 4 or 5, whatever they were. iPad, iPhone, Android, Chromebooks, and it'll run on an M1 Mac, any Apple Silicon Mac. Now, the version that's running on the Mac is still the iPad version. It's not, they didn't make a special Mac version. It's the iPad version, but they have a person that's dedicated to making sure that's a good experience. It's a no-brainer. Absolutely, Eric. It's absolutely a no-brainer. Absolutely. $9.99, 2 cups of Starbucks coffee, or 2 months of renting Final Cut on the iPad right now. Now, like I said, it has add-on packs. You can either buy it in app purchases for a few things, a multicam and a couple of other things. They're add-on packs, but those are perpetual licenses too. So even if you got $9.99 and bought the add-on pack, say for the multicam, which I recommend, it's really good. You're still less than a year's worth of renting for iMovie, Final Cut for iPad. Now here's the thing: there's nothing against Final Cut for iPad. Okay, absolutely nothing against Final Cut for iPad. It's a great little application on the iPad, but you don't have to rent it every month. You might rent it for 1 month, and then if you bought LumaFusion, you can use LumaFusion on the iPad if that is your preferred way of editing is the iPad. I use LumaFusion on the iPad. I've never tried Final Cut on the iPad because I don't want another subscription. I don't want another one of these. Subscriptions all over the place. I don't want any more of that. iMovie and LumaFusion on iPhone and Final Cut Pro DaVinci Studio on the Mac. Sounds like a really good deal. Yeah, well, there you go. Sean Beckner says it is a really good deal. Sean's our friend over there. He's a woodworker over there on Instagram. Has a lot of he does a lot of tutorials and stuff, and lets people watch him as he's working on the wood, and he's very good. He's very good. I'm a woodworker myself, so I can say that with authority. He's really good at it. So that's one of the main reasons I came on today, LumaFusion, for $9.99. It's a no-brainer. It's never been this cheap before. Never been this cheap before. So you can't not get it. And here's something else about LumaFusion. They do not sell your personal data. Okay? They do not sell your personal data. We hold a responsibility to the creators we serve, and we are committed to safeguarding privacy, igniting personal creativity, and preserving the art of storytelling. LumaFusion and LumaTouch do not collect. They don't even not sell it. They don't collect it. They don't even collect user data. Our tools exist to nurture creativity rather than devour it. What a great quote from LumaFusion. Let me just do one more thing. We'll play some of their promo video.
Video creators, this Black Friday, we have big news. For a limited time, LumaFusion, the award-winning Mobile editing video app is on super sale for the one-time charge of $9.99 USD. That is 66% off its regular price. Already using?
Once again, it ends tonight. It ends tonight. Look, I've made another sale. I've made 3 sales already for LumaFusion. Plus, it's a fun editing experience. Plus, the LumaFusion community is like the Final Cut Pro community. They're very, very good. They're very helpful. And it's a fun community to be bought in. Tyler says, I wouldn't go to Home Depot and pay 10 cents a month to use a hammer. So, all from the Apple Mac store. Yes, you can get, that's where you buy it. If you're on the Mac, like I presume you are, you get it at the Apple Mac store. And if it's also available, the same license works on your, if you have Android, if you have a Chromebook, if you have a Mac, if you have an iPhone, or if you have an iPad, one license, perpetual license. Now, like I said, there are add-on packs, but they're perpetual licenses, or they have a special right now. So LumaFusion has a Storyblocks subscription service. They've had it for a while, where you can download and use videos and audio files, et cetera, et cetera. They just added all their add-on packs to that subscription service for no additional charge. So if you have the Storyblocks subscription, you now get all of the add-on packs included in the subscription. But you can still buy a perpetual license for any of the add-on packs. I'd recommend, well, there's 2. I'd recommend definitely the multicam is a no-brainer. It's a fantastic implementation of multicam. And if you need to go back and forth to Final Cut Pro, you can do that with a FCP XML export. Daniel says, I subscribe to their forums too. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's just a no-brainer. It's $9.99, but only through the end of today. Only through the end of today. Okay? Listen, I don't care if you buy it and don't use it for a month or 2. Just get it for $9.99 today. That's my recommendation. So what else do we have that's special? We're going to talk about our friends. And this is not specifically a Black Friday sale. This is just on sale till the end of December. Caption Animator by our friends Philip and Greg over there at Intelligent Assistance. So it's 25% off. What does Caption Animator do? Caption Animator will take one of the new things in Final Cut Pro 11 is it'll transcribe to captions. Captions are not titles, they're not subtitles. This thing changes the captions that Final Cut Pro transcribes into titles/subtitles that you can format, change the position, change the color, the font, anything you want. So you still have captions, but you can turn them off once Final Cut Pro does the transcription and makes the captions. This thing changes those captions into titles and subtitles, and you can use any third-party title that you want. Very, 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 very cool. It's $14.99 until December the 31st. So it's 25% off. Normally, it's $19.99. This is another one. One-time price, no subscription. Fantastic, fantastic. Our good friends, Philip and Greg, over this, go to intelligentassistance.com. It's on you can also search for it on the App Store. It's on the App Store for $14.99 right now. Highly recommended. Absolutely. Highly recommended. I might have just got my friend to buy it too, so you can make another sale. So I've sold 4 copies of LumaFusion. Listen, this was too great a sale. $9.99. They've gone on sale many times. Not many times. They usually Black Friday they go on sale for $19.99, and sometime around NAB they go on sale for $19.99. I've never seen it $9.99. Listen, just buy it if you have an iPad. It runs on older iPads too. You don't need the most current one like Final Cut does for iPads. So that's fantastic. Just got it. Thanks. Can it edit vertical portrait? It can edit vertical video. You can set up custom projects. Yes, absolutely. Because social media uses a lot of vertical video. Absolutely. $9.99. LumaFusion XML Final Cut Pro. This is a separate app, or only open that option LumaFusion if you buy it. What they do is they have a set price for LumaFusion itself, which is very, very capable NLE. And then as they go along, rather than charge a subscription for LumaFusion, they do these add-on packs. They have multicam, XML, Final Cut Pro to FCP XML, you can go back and forth. They have the speed ramping one, and there's one other one, I forget what it is, but they have add-on packs that you can buy. Sometimes they go on sale too, but you don't need them to start editing. So that's what it is. The LumaFusion XML is to go back and forth between Final Cut, and it goes back and forth really, really well. Just picked up Caption Animator. Thanks for this nugget. Yes, thanks Philip and Greg for doing such a great little app. Yeah, it's really, really cool. Caption Animator, highly recommended. Because it works. You know, the thing about here, kid, we're talking about Final Cut Pro 11 now. The thing about Final Cut Pro 11, they have transcribed to Caption. So it'll take your audio, whatever you have in the timeline, and transcribe all the audio and place captions. Well, captions are not really titles or subtitles. You can't really do a lot with changing the font, the color, the position. Captions have very strict, specific requirements in order to be called a caption. So that's what Final Cut is doing, transcribe to captions. But Caption Animator takes those captions, which you still have, and whatever it does, makes titles or subtitles out of them that you can position, change the font, change the color, all kinds of things. It's very simple to do. All you do is you make a title before you use this app. You make a title in your timeline, the way you want your titles to look and to appear, and the position and the color, etc. You make a title, and then you drop your project on Caption Animator, and then you choose that title for your template, and it takes all the captions and puts them in to that template that you made. Very, very easy to do. It's an extension in Final Cut. My question was, is this install another app or just unlock it on LumaFusion? Just unlock it on LumaFusion. It's a in-purchase buy. It's not another app. It'll all appear in LumaFusion. So it's an add-on pack. See, the thing is, Storyblocks, it's clips, it's titles and stuff, I think, and audio. It's one of those things where you just rent these, you just subscribe to these services, and you get that for a monthly fee. I think it's $9.99, which people have already been subscribing to if they want Storyblocks. Well, now, for no additional charge, if you rent Storyblocks, or you want to, or you subscribe to it, the service, it's not mandatory, it's just something extra. You now get FCP XML, you now get multicam, you now get the speed editor, and there's one other thing that you get, one other add-on pack. I forget what it is. You have to go look on it for yourself, Richard. Richard, go look at it. I know what it is. I have all the add-on packs. Our friend Matthew says, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining in, Matthew. Thanks, Richard. Rather than Final Cut Pro on a Mac, I expect LumaFusion to replace iMovie on my iPhone, which is a mess to edit vertical video on the go for social media. So just look up LumaFusion vertical video, and they'll have lots of stuff to tell you how to do it. But it's, listen, $9.99. I just can't get over that. Plus, the same with Philip and Greg's Caption animator for $14.99, right? $14.99, 25% off until the end of December. It's fantastic. These people are doing such great jobs with these products. Is there a way to export titles from DaVinci to Final Cut Pro? Seems when I did an export using audio only, it didn't export the auto titles when opening in Final Cut Pro. What are you mean XML with XML? That I don't know. I would just burn them in, or do the titles separate. You could just do the titles, turn the video off, and just run a video, export a video of the titles, and then import that into Final Cut. If that's what you're talking about. XML wise, I don't know. Going back and forth. Just added the speed ramp add-on to LumaFusion. Yeah, that's the latest one. People are loving that. It's very, very sophisticated. The Storyblocks integration for the price is great too. You can't get access to that many clips anywhere else for that price. Perfect, Eric. Thanks for bringing that up, because I don't subscribe to any of those clips thing. But now if you want Storyblocks and you want the extra clips and you want the audio files, music and stuff, now you get all four of the add-on packs included in the subscription price. It's fantastic. You don't have to do the subscription, and you don't need any packs to run LumaFusion. But I recommend the multicam. It's really, really good. If you do multicam, if you want to do multicam on the iPad. So one of the neat things about LumaFusion 5.0, I think it's 5.0, is, of course, you can edit off SSDs, external SSDs. And if you open up LumaFusion and the SSD is not connected, it'll say, hey, it'll prompt you, hey, this SSD, this project is off the SSD, and it's not connected. Plug it into your iPad, it automatically connects. It automatically reconnects. It's really, really a great application. So is this one from Intelligent Assistance. I can't recommend it enough. $14.99, fantastic. They also have one that does translation, because the Final Cut captions right now are limited in their languages. They have another one that does translation, but this is the one that I really, really like, is the titles one. Finally saw the Mac Mini in person yesterday. It's tiny. It looks awesome as well. The Mac Mini, I got the Mac Mini Pro, okay? It is tiny. It's like, well, it's that small. It can't have all the features that my MacBook Pro has. It can't have all the features that Mac Studio has. Well, it doesn't have 100%, but the performance is phenomenal. The Mac Mini performance is absolutely phenomenal. Let's go over here for a second. Just check on the outside. It's cold. It's really, really cold out there. This is what the backyard looks like right now. That's a bluebird. I think 2 bluebirds on there. We feed them all winter long. Suet, that's a bluebird. We feed them suet. We have and also have a seed also as well for the birds. We feed all the animals all winter long. They'll be out there. Sometimes they fight, sometimes they don't. But that's a bluebird. Very, very cool. We like feeding the animals. We like taking care of our animals. Yeah, so the Mac Mini is really, really cool. It's this M4 Mac Mini, as you might expect. I have the Mac Mini and I have my M1 Max MacBook Pro 16-inch that I decided to keep below me. And the Mac Mini is definitely zippier and it runs. Not that the M1 Mac, I kept it because I really like this. It's fantastic as well. But the M4 Max in that little small footprint is just incredible. And it has Thunderbolt 5. Thunderbolt 5. Now, the new MacBook Pros, the 16-inch, I don't know if the 14-inch has it or not. They also have Thunderbolt 5. I am so glad that Apple stepped up and got Thunderbolt 5. It's about time the Mac Mini dropped the CD-size form factor. Yes, it's tiny. It's just like this big. It's like a little bit bigger than an Apple TV, the puck. But it's really, really good. So let me just talk about that for a second. So one of the things that I got is Caption. What happened to, there it is. So one of the things that I got, now wait a minute, I didn't mean to have that on there. External drives, portable drives. One of the things that I got is this 4 terabyte drive. Now, OWC has a true Thunderbolt 5 drive. Okay, it's a true Thunderbolt 5. And they have 2 right now. It's rugged, reliable, revolutionary. This is what it looks like. It's aluminum. It maybe look like it's plastic, but it's not. It's actually aluminum. And the speeds are incredible. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to do this. Here's the thing. The first and fastest Thunderbolt 5 portable SSD. So, over 6,000 megabytes per second, 2 times faster than Thunderbolt 4 and USB 4. Now, I'm not getting 6,000. I'm getting 5,000 fairly consistently. Now, once you fill up the cache in these SSDs, it'll drop. But I'm getting 5,000 consistently. Whenever I do a speed test, it says over 6,000. I haven't got 6,000. But anyway, I bought this pre-ordered today. So 2 terabyte, I got the 5 terabyte. And I also ordered their 5 terabyte cable. Thunderbolt 5 cable that was on sale at Amazon for over Thanksgiving. So there you go. So this is really, really good. Now, here's the thing. Let me see if I have that here. If you decide to get this, I don't know how it works for back orders. So you have to pre-order this. I don't know how this works for back orders. It worked for me when I bought it. OWC Radio 24 knocked $90 off of that drive for me. But mine was not back ordered. Mine was live at the time. So I don't know. This is Serena Catania gave this to me. It knocks 15% off the purchase of that drive. It did for me. I don't know if it'll work for pre-orders. I don't know if there's a space to enter a coupon for pre-orders. They sold out of the first batch, and now you're looking at the end of January before you're going to be available. At least that's what they said. Mine came in weeks ahead of what they were supposed to. Mine was supposed to come in this week. It came in like a week and a half ago. So far, It's worked fantastic. You plug it into the back of the Thunderbolt 5 port on the Mac Mini, consistently gets 5,000 megabytes a second until the cache fills up. Once the cache fills up, it drops to about 2,000, and then it stays at 2,000 if you're transferring large files. But I don't, transferring files is one thing, but I use it just to run my projects in Final Cut Pro, and it works fantastically. OWC Radio 24, try it. Try it, see if it works for pre-order. It worked for me once the pre-orders came online. So keep that little coupon code. It works really, really good. See how that works out for you. What else do we have? So we got a couple more things that are still on sale. Here is another one. Well, here's my speed tests, okay? This is, I have a page on my website, this is on Richard Taylor TV. And what I did was I did multiple speed tests. So this is Mac Mini Pro, 2 terabyte, 64 gigabyte, native speed, 7,000 and 5,400 is the native Mac Mini SSD speed. Now, this is the Thunderbolt 5, OWC Thunderbolt 5 drive, 5,100, 75, 50, so almost 5,200 read and write using the Thunderbolt 5 SSD. That's really, really good. Here's where it gets interesting. Not only is it extremely fast on the Mac Mini or anything that has Thunderbolt 5, it also maximizes if you have Thunderbolt 4, okay? Here is my native speed of my M1 Max 4 terabyte, 64 gigabyte MacBook Pro, 6,000 megabytes a second write and 5,300 megabytes a second read. That's the native SSD in my M1 Max. It's similar to the Mac Mini. Here is the same OWC drive connected to my MacBook Pro, which only has Thunderbolt 4. Almost 3,000 megabytes a second read and 3,000 megabytes a second write. That's faster than any other drive that I've connected to this MacBook Pro. So it not only is good for Thunderbolt 5, it also maximizes whatever the heck it's doing. It maximizes if you have Thunderbolt 4. It's much, much faster. So far, I'm recommending it. As long as there's no issues going forward, I highly recommend it. They're not a sponsor of mine, but it's a great product. It's $600 for a 4 terabyte. So Apple, when I bought my Mac Mini, Apple wanted to go, I got a 2 terabyte. To go from 2 terabyte to 4 terabyte, Apple wanted $600. They wanted $600 for 2 additional terabytes. I've already paid for the 2 terabyte. They said, well, you're going to go to 4 terabyte. That's $600. Give me $600. No, I'm not giving you $600. I bought this 4 terabyte SSD from OWC instead. It's Thunderbolt 5. So instead of only having 4 terabytes, instead of having 4 terabytes on my Mac Mini, I now have 6 terabytes for the same price. Less than that, because I got it for, instead of $600, I got it for $509 because I used that coupon code that I told you about. It worked for me. Now, like I said, it's in since they're in, you have to pre-order. I don't know if there's a place to put the coupon code. I would wait until they come back online and try it then. I don't know how long the coupon code's good for. I don't know. Feels like you could edit right off the drive itself and almost feel no difference. I can't feel any difference. So Final Cut Pro 11 on this Mac Mini, I got the M4 Pro, And I got the top of the line, everything I could get. I got the highest CPU. I got the highest GPU. I got the most RAM, 64 gigabytes of RAM. The only thing I didn't get the 10 gig Ethernet because I don't use my Ethernet now. I don't use it. I don't have a NAS. I don't use my Ethernet, my 1 gig Ethernet. Why should I spend an extra $100 and get the 10 gig? I didn't get that. I also didn't get the 4 terabyte or the 8 terabyte SSD. They wanted an incredible amount of money for that 8 terabyte. No. They wanted $600 to go from 2 terabytes to 4 terabytes. No. Absolutely not. I sprung for it on my M1 Max MacBook Pro years ago. I didn't do it for the Mac Mini. So far, I've put a lot of stuff on this from scratch. I started Sequoia from scratch, added Final Cut Pro, added Logic Pro, all my basic. I got DaVinci Resolve Studio. I have Topaz AI. I have all my normal things, speed tests and stuff. And what else do I have? I have Pixelmator Pro, Clean Shot X, Final Cut Pro, backups for Final Cut Pro, all my normal baseline apps that I have to have when I run a Mac. So far I've used up 500, just under 500 gigabytes on this Mac Mini hard drive. So I have 1.52 terabytes left. Now, I haven't added all my samples and stuff, audio samples that some of my programs use. I'm probably going to get close to using up 1 terabyte, but that's all I'm going to do. Everything else is going on the OWC 5 terabyte SSD. And if I like this, I'll buy another one for $600 or $500 or whatever. But I'm going to try it out for a while. Right now, it's running fantastically. I really, really like it. So here we go. This is a long one. I have to read it in pieces. I emailed OWC to see if they had plans to make just a bare T5 enclosure available like their T4 enclosure to put your own M2 MBA cards, blah, 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 and reply with not. At this moment, we do not have any announcements regarding the availability of the Envoy as a standalone enclosure. However, please rest assured that we value your suggestion. We'll definitely consider the possibility of developing Envoy or a different Thunderbolt 5 enclosure. So they might have a bare Thunderbolt 5 enclosure and just add your own SSDs. I like that. However, I have their RAID 2. I have an 8 terabyte RAID 5 that's been rock solid for me for years, 2 or 3 years. If you add your own, you don't get the same warranty. If you add your own, I think you got a 1-year warranty. I got a 5-year warranty, I think, with my RAID 5, and a 3-year warranty with this SSD. And the good thing about OWC is you can call and talk to a real person if there's any problems in the United States. You're not talking to somebody from India or someplace else. You're talking to a real person in the United States if you have any issues. So I got 3-year warranty on this 4 terabyte Thunderbolt 5 drive, and I guarantee I'm going to run this all the time. It runs all the time that I'm using my Mac Mini, all the time. And I can also use it on my MacBook Pro. So when I go to NAB in April, and I go back to the Creator Summit, which was fantastic this year. I can't emphasize any more how great the Final Cut Pro Creator Summit was this year. It was really good last year. This year was, I think, absolutely the best one I've ever been to. And that's for a lot of reasons, because of Apple, because the Final Cut Pro, Apple and the Final Cut Pro team, Pro Apps team took us in and gave us a very special presentation. In the Developers Center Theater, beautiful, beautiful theater. They gave us the Phonica Pro 11 presentation. We got the debut of Phonica Pro 11 to anywhere in the world. We got the debut right there at that beautiful theater. Fantastic. FMC did a fantastic job with the presenters. Michael Cioni was fantastic. Apple Fitness Plus was fantastic. They had a lot of top tier. Tyler Stallman was there. He did a great job. They had a bunch of other presenters that were really top tier. Top tier. Michael Cioni did 90 minutes, basically stand up. It wasn't comedy, but it was stand up with just his iPhone for looking down for notes. No teleprompter or anything. Last time I talked to you, I said how I edit right off the drive because I only have a 1 terabyte MacBook. Are you editing right off the drive now as well? I edit off of the Thunderbolt 5 drive. I don't edit off of my native drive anymore because I don't want to fill it up. Okay. My M1 Max MacBook Pro 16-inch, that is a 4 terabyte drive, so I would edit off that. This Mac Mini Pro has a 2 terabyte drive, and I don't want to fill it up. I want to keep as much empty as I can. Right now, I got 3/4 empty, 75% empty. But that's probably going to creep closer to 750 gigabytes. Right now, it's less than 500, but it'll probably creep closer to 750, maybe even 1 terabyte. But I want to keep 50% empty on that. I'm editing exclusively off of the 5 terabyte, the Thunderbolt 5 drive. I have a couple of big projects that I edit off of the RAID 5, the OWC RAID 5, Flex 8 or something like that. Yeah, Apple's SSD prices are ridiculous. I go for the top line of everything, but not the SSD. It's ridiculous. If I got a MacBook Pro, I would probably spring for the 4 terabyte again. I would not go for the 8 terabyte, but I didn't need the MacBook Pro. My MacBook Pro sits on my desk 98% of the year. The only time I move it is when I go to the Creative Summit and to NAB, which I'm planning on doing again, because I need it to run Ecamm Live when I do live streams. Other than that, it's a desktop. Other than that, my MacBook Pro is a desktop. So when I priced the MacBook Pro that I wanted, it was, when I traded in this one, it brought the price down into the mid 4,000s. I said, oh, okay, that's not too bad. Then I bought it. I ordered it. I thought about it. I don't want to sell this. I love this M1 Max MacBook Pro. So I went back, took the MacBook Pro off the deal, and of course the price was now over $6,000 for a new MacBook Pro. I don't need a MacBook Pro. I just need this one for when I travel. So I went back and said, no, I'm not going to spend over $6,000. I don't need a MacBook Pro specifically. And I'm not going to trade this one in. It's too good a machine. So I went back and priced the Mac Mini. I got it in 2,700, something like that, whatever. There was no trade in. That's just, 0% financing. So I got the Mac Mini. I couldn't be happier. It's running fantastic. Fantastic. I really good. Really good. Why do you think they do a solid presentation on Logic Pro at a Phonica Pro event? Well, it's a Phonica Pro event, but the Pro Apps team is there, and that includes Logic. I don't think they did anything with Motion or Compressor. They did a very long one on the new Logic Pro 11.1, but it was all musical stuff. It was reverbs and session players and stuff like that, which is fine. And it was longer than the Phonica Pro presentation. I was kind of surprised. But I mean, I like it because I'm a musician, because I use Logic. I love Logic. So it's part of the Pro Apps team. That's why. Never overspec generation. I have overspec generation NVMEs and SSD Thunderbolt 4 enclosure and get more speed if I could move them to Thunderbolt 5 enclosure. Gotcha. That would make complete sense. I don't want to get cheap enclosures. I want to get something that's guaranteed. OWC makes good stuff, and they probably will make a solution at some point, Thunderbolt 5. Fantastic. I do that as well. I've been using a different drive, though. I've never had a problem in the 2 years I've been doing it. I use the SanDisk Extreme Pro. I've had no issues. Before I got this Thunderbolt 5, 4 terabyte Thunderbolt 5 drive, I was editing off of, and without any issues, editing off of these. They get 1,000 megabytes per second on USB 3, USB-C, USB 3. These little SanDisk drives, these are 4 terabytes. But I wouldn't even think about editing off of these without making at least 1 or 2 backups, because this goes, all your data is gone, of course, as you well know. But I was editing off of these at 1,000 megabits a second. Now I got 5,000 megabits a second, megabytes a second speed. It drops down to 2,000 sustained. That's if you're copying large files as well. No, I edit off this Thunderbolt 5 drive. That's why I got it. That's exactly why I got it. I want to try to keep as much space as I can on my Mac Mini hard drive. Right now I got 1.5 terabytes free. I want to try to keep at least 1 terabyte free. So as like I get downloads, I download videos or something, I'm going to take them and put them on the Thunderbolt 5 drive. And I back everything up. I have a really good backup system. Backblaze online, my RAID 5, 8 spinning drive, RAID 5. That's about 1,000 megabytes a second as well, speed, Thunderbolt. I have an LTO9 tape system, which is my biggest way to archive stuff. And then I back everything up on bare 8 terabyte hard drives as well. So I'm pretty well covered pretty much any way I possibly can be. And now I have my Thunderbolt 5 drive. So far, it's running great. I got a 3-year warranty on it. We'll see if that continues. One of the things that I mentioned in another one, I got this Ulanzi grip magnetic MagSafe grip that I really, really like. For just if you're shooting handheld with the iPhone, because I know some people that are watching this live stream today are iPhone people, because I put the link in their group. So one of the things I really like is this. Of course, you can go vertical as well. It's MagSafe. It's really safe. It's really strong magnet, which I like. And I have a case on this too, a MagSafe case. And you can go vertical, horizontal. It's got a Bluetooth trigger button, so you can trigger the recording of the camera. And it's got a cold shoe if you wanted to put a microphone on here, or like my DJI Mic 2 receiver on here, or a light or anything. It's really nice. It's a basic one. It's a Ulanzi. It's a lot cheaper than the other ones that I saw out there. And the other thing is that I really like about it is it's not only magnetic, it also has the jaws. If you don't have a magnetic phone, you can also use this to just grip your phone. It's really clever design. I think it was like $20. Oh, it has a mirror on it. It has a mirror on here, so if you're recording yourself, you can see yourself. It doesn't quite frame it up perfectly, but it gets you an idea. Gets you in the ballpark if you're facing this way. It's really nice little. I got it on sale over Black Friday. So much stuff. Can you use the new Mac Mini on an older iMac 20? Please let me know what I need to be able to do that. I don't know how far back. I'm using my Mac Mini, and it's using I have 2 monitors, and my Mac Mini is also AirPlaying to my MacBook Pro. So you can't plug it in. I don't think that's going to work via Thunderbolt, because they got rid of target disk mode, but you can AirPlay it. I'm AirPlaying. I have 3 monitors hooked up to my Mac Mini. 1 via HDMI, 1 via Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt or USB? Thunderbolt 5. And the third one, my MacBook Pro via AirPlay, which is wirelessly. So I have my 3 monitors. I didn't lose that setup. I really, really like that. Can we see Logic as a friend Pro app to complement Final Cut Pro in some workflow? Absolutely, you can. You can export XML from Final Cut Pro and import it into Logic, but you really can't. You can't take that round trip. You can't really take that XML from Logic and go back into Final Cut Pro. It doesn't work that way. What you can do is take XML from Final Cut Pro to Logic, do scoring if you're going to score something, do your mixing, do whatever editing you want to do, and then export stems or a final mix to take back to Final Cut Pro. But you can't go back and forth XML between Logic and Final Cut. Now, Logic Pro is specifically a musician recording studio app, okay? That doesn't mean you can't use it for some post-production audio workflow. I do it all the time. I've been editing my podcasts, Final Cut Pro Radio podcast. By the way, one is due. I have to get it out. I was just busy with the Creative Summit, so I didn't get a chance to do one in November, but I'll get one out. So I do my podcast, all my audio edit, any sophisticated audio editing I do in Logic. I can, for most of my videos, they don't require that level of sophistication. I do them in Final Cut Pro. Everything's fine. When I need plugins, when I have an hour-long video and stuff, and I need to chop it up and need to do crossfades and all that kind of stuff, I do them much better. I need plugins, Logic Pro plugins or Waves plugins or whatever kind of audio plugins. I do them in Logic. I don't use them in Final Cut. Can do it in both, but it depends on how sophisticated the audio editing is. Logic is great for that. What kind of monitors do you have? Sean Beckner says, I have a 34.5-inch LG monitor, Thunderbolt monitor, that I really, really like. But this is an old one. This is Thunderbolt 3, maybe? Thunderbolt 2 or Thunderbolt 3, I forget which. So you take Thunderbolt connection from the MacBook Pro into the back of this, and in the back they have the additional ports. They have USB A ports, and they have a Thunderbolt out port. So I go into the monitor, out of the monitor Thunderbolt into a couple of old Thunderbolt docks that connect to my older RAID 5s via Thunderbolt, and it has FireWire. They both have FireWire ports. So I actually have FireWire 800 as well, all connected in. By the way, I'm going to be doing, well, you'll see what I'm doing. So I have a 34.5 inches, my main one. And then I have a generic other monitor to the side, which is big as well, that I keep windows on. And then I have my MacBook Pro via AirDrop right below me. So I have 3 monitors running off my Mac Mini. You know, the interesting thing is, I monitor the CPU. It's definitely hot, but when I'm running all this stuff, but you know, I guess the fans are running. I have a thing. Let me just check over here. Yeah, the fans are at 4%. It says right now. I can't hear them. I cannot. They are just completely. They do such a great job with fans. Apple does. It's just phenomenal. Can't find any refurb MacBook Pros with 2 terabyte SSD from Apple. You mean like M3 or earlier? I'm not sure. I wouldn't think the M4s would be out yet. I wouldn't think the M4s would be out yet. Refurbs, I mean. About Logic Pro, I think about create music from loops and imports them into Final Cut music soundtracks. Absolutely. You can also create, they have an AI drummer, AI bass player, and I think an AI keyboard player in Logic Pro now. you can create your own music if you're not a musician, or if you are a musician, in my case. So, but I do my podcast. Final Cut Pro Radio is almost always done in Logic Pro, because it's an hour and a half long. I got to cut it down, and it's much better. It's a digital audio workstation. Okay, Final Cut Pro is not a digital audio workstation. It's not. It doesn't have the tools that a digital audio workstation has. That doesn't mean you can't edit audio in Final Cut Pro. I edit most of my videos, the audio stays in Final Cut Pro, and everything's fine. Everything is fine. More sophisticated stuff, if I need certain tools, certain plugins to work reliably, I take it into Logic. It's interesting, Logic has had a remove silence feature for years, but a remove silence doesn't exist in Final Cut. Would like to see something like that recut exist in Final Cut. Matthew, how about search for zero crossings and do all your edits at a zero crossing? Logic's had that for years. Final Cut Pro still doesn't have that. You can edit and not be at a zero crossing on the waveform. That's another. There's lots of things that Logic has. I did a 10 things that I want Final Cut Pro to have that Logic has. Of course, number one was a scrolling timeline. Logic Pro, you can have 2 scrolling timelines at 2 different zoom levels. You can have one zoomed in for the whole timeline and one zoomed out and one zoomed in if you wanted to. And I did that a lot. But I'm just saying it has notes. I have a notes feature in Logic Pro. I can attach a note to a project or a track. Notes. So I can do a transcript that's attached to the project. I love that in Logic. There's lots of things in Logic. But it's a DAW. It's a different development cycle. And they do a great job. All the Pro Apps people do a great job. Well, here's the thing. Since you mentioned it, it's interesting that Logic has a remove silence feature. But once again, Logic's a DAW. Final Cut Pro is not. I took aside, at the Creative Summit, the Pro Apps team was there. So there's a new young lady who is in charge of promotion for Logic or whatever. I forget what she was. She's new to the Pro Apps team, from what they said. And I took her aside and I said, listen, I've got one request for you for Logic Pro. What is it in Final Cut that improves dialogue? What is that, whatever it was? They don't have that in Logic Pro after all this time. I thought for sure it'd be there in Logic Pro 11.1. Well, it's not. I said, listen, what is it called? I forget. Dialogue something, dialogue, whatever the dialogue plugin in Final Cut Pro, you don't have it in Logic Pro. Even after all this time, I said, can you get that in Logic Pro, please? Because it's very effective. I mean, DaVinci Resolve has one that's really, really good as well, but it's more sophisticated than the one in Final Cut Pro. Let me just check something here. I'm expecting an update to Final Cut Pro 11 between now and before they go on Christmas holiday. Doesn't mean it's going to happen, but I'm expecting Final Cut Pro 11.0.1 to be in the App Store. So I was just checking to see if it came today, but so far it has not. So I guess it's not going to come today. I thought it might because it's a Tuesday. Tuesdays, Thursdays are the biggest days that we get Final Cut Pro updates. Thursdays are more popular than Tuesdays. Give us faders in Final Cut Pro. And yes, I love the notes in Logic. So not just faders, but channel inserts. So you can drop channel inserts so you can drop plugins and stuff. And I know they're working on it. I mean, I know I have some inside knowledge. I'm not part of the beta process, so I can say whatever I want. But I know they have a mixing board in Final Cut Pro. They just haven't released it yet. Whatever the heck they're doing, it's in there somewhere. So we'll see how that goes with Logic. Let me see what else I want to bring up. So we talked about LumaFusion for $9.99. What a steal. I don't care if you don't use it for a month or 2 months. $9.99 ends today. Tomorrow it's going to be $29.99. $9.99 ends today. I don't know what time, but as of right now, runs on your iPhone, runs on your iPad, runs on Google, which I don't have anything of, Android. It runs on Chromebooks, and it'll run on any Apple Silicon Mac. You can edit in LumaFusion on the iPad version will run on any Apple Silicon Mac for one price. For one price. 2 months of renting Final Cut on the iPad, and you got a perpetual license of LumaFusion. It's drop dead simple. It's drop dead simple. Get it. 2 cups of Starbucks coffee, and you have the perpetual license of LumaFusion. Absolutely. I'm really thinking some great updates are ahead of us. I do too. We've just started down the Final Cut Pro 11 roadmap. This is the beginning of the Final Cut Pro 11 roadmap. So remember when Final Cut Pro 10 came out, they said there's a 10-year roadmap for Final Cut Pro 10. Well, the 10-year roadmap turned into 13 years. The 10-year roadmap turned into 13 years. The Final Cut 11 roadmap, I asked the Final Cut Pro team, I said, is there going to be a similar roadmap for Final Cut Pro 11? 10 years, 11 years, 12 years? Or are we going to see Final Cut Pro 12 in 6 months? I was just joking, of course. And they said, well, we don't talk about future. I know that, but I'm just asking generically. I took notes during the Q&A session this time, and I still haven't got to deciphering my chicken scratchings and stuff, but I will, and we'll talk about that on one of the Final Cut Pro TVs and coffees that are coming up. We're doing one Saturday. 10 o'clock in the morning seems to work pretty well. Sometime I'll do 12, but I think every Saturday, between 10, 11, and 12, I'll usually do my Final Cut TV, our Final Cut TV and coffees. We usually do them every Saturday, including this Saturday. We'll be back this Saturday. Now I'm getting some beeps on let me see something here, just check on a few things. So, we got, so there's a couple of other things. I run the Final Cut Pro community over there on X, if you go there. We got 230 people right now, 240 people to that community. They call them communities. I don't know. I just started it. So Final Cut Pro community on X, I'm in charge of that. I'm running that. And what else do we have? Oh, I got something else I want to bring up while we're here. This is another, they've extended their Black Friday sale. This is ADD, Audio Design Desk. Fantastic, fantastic product. Now it says Black Friday is here, biggest sale of the year, 50% off with code ADD. Let me pull that up. Just go to their site. ADD app. ADD.app is their website address. Let me pull this up. And I'll do, I don't know why it's terrible. Style. Edit background, please. All right, here we go. So ADD BF Black Friday 24, and you get 50% off. And it's a fantastic supplement to Final Cut Pro. And it has bridging to Logic and Final Cut Pro and stuff. I don't know how in the heck they did it, but they did it. I highly recommend Audio Design Desk ADD. It's a really, really good. Now, I don't know how long this lasts. Today's usually Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and yesterday, but LumaFusion is through today. ADD is through today. Philip and Greg, their title plugin for Final Cut Pro Captions is through the end of December. The OWC coupon code, 15% off. I don't know if it works on that hard drive. It probably works on everything else in OWC. So, but this is ADD BF 24, Black Friday 24. It says, so this is really, really good. Very, very cool. I can't play the audio for this because I'll get a strike. I'll try it.
I'm going to press H for hit, T for transition, R for rise, D for drone. Let's see what we've got. Increase the intensity to 4 or 5 and replace. I'll put lightsaber hits on key 1, whips on 2, lasers on 3, and male vocalizations on 4. And I'm triggering these from the QWERTY keyboard. Okay, I need a gunshot, intense.
So I can't run these videos too long because sometimes I get strikes on my YouTube channel because of either the audio or whatever. So Audio Design Desk, what is it? ADD.app.
And you know what?
ADD.app. Great application and I think they have a subscription, plus you can buy a perpetual license. Let me just check on that. Actually, they have a free plan you can try for free. It says personal is $11.99 a month. Perpetual is $2.99 one-time fee, but I think it's 50% off of that. So instead of $2.99, it is $150. But once again, I don't know how long this is going to last. This is already beyond the normal Black Friday. So I think it's 50% off. I think Black Friday's here, biggest sale of the year, 50% off with code ADDBF24. I think it's 50% off. So instead of $2.99 for a perpetual license, it's $150 as far as I can tell. Check it out. Check it out. We are doing good. I'm just going to check on some statistics. While we're there. Yeah, we got 27 people will be there watching on X. We got over 50 people, 60, 70, 80 people. So, yeah, I have really, listen, I got a lot more video to come out from the Creative Summit. I've been putting out different videos. I don't want to keep seeing that. Do I like this? Do I like that? Yes, I like it. Don't keep on putting out. Don't keep asking me if I like your product. That would be the worst ways to turn things off. Turn me off, I mean. Excuse me. Let's go over there to the movies. So we already saw that. Let me just see this. Why is that last position? This is LumaFusion for $9.99 once again.
Now is your chance to experience a professional editing app on your tablet and phone with powerful, easy-to-use features, including a multi-track magnetic timeline, keyframing, green screen support, powerful effects and presets, and intuitive touch gestures that make storytelling extra fun.
Once again, I can't play that too long as music in the background. I don't know. I have no idea. Sometimes I go back and I got a music strike, a copyright strike. That's just what the heck. Got to go back and replace the music. Is the sale of DaVinci Resolve still going on? I do not know. It was 20% off. So 20% off on the studio version of DaVinci Resolve. You can't beat that as well. Now, what was I going to do here? Oh, I know what I was going to do. Let me go back to my movies. Let me see what else I have here. So here is this little thing that happened at the Creators Summit, as you know. Here we go. This is the lobby of the Juniper Hotel. Not the lobby. This is the floor lobby. Each floor has this lobby before you get on the elevator. Hello? Yes? Don't worry, we won't say anything. We won't say anything. Thanks for calling, Tim. I appreciate it. So that was, I was walking in the lobby. It's not a lobby, it's just a hotel elevator area. I guess each floor has its own little mini lobby. And walking there and the phone rings and somebody told me that Final Cut Pro 11 was out before I knew about it. Of course, it's just a little skit. It's not real, but I put that up. People seem to like that. Let me see what else I have real quick. This is Michael Cioni, just a little place here. He was at the Creative Summit, of course.
Now the metal space is on fire, and I see people walking around using iPhones as part of their kits. And that's part of their kit. Sometimes it is the kit, right? And for other people, it's an accessory to the kit. That's what Richard's doing right now. It's part of the whole system. It's so powerful and simple. I admire he's got a monopod, he's got dual record audio. I mean, this is it. It's the one-man band is not actually lo-fi anymore. It's amazing. Teams of one were never possible. It doesn't even make sense when you think about it in English. Teams of one. It's like, I'm it. He's it. It's amazing, right?
I've been friends with Michael for a few years. He's been on our show. He's been on Final Cut TV and been on Final Cut Pro Radio. But he always gets a kick out of my setup because he has expensive cameras and tripods, and I got his monopod, and I got my iPhone. And what he was pointing to there, I had the iPhone and I had the Lumix S5 Mark II X, both filming at the same time. 2 different zoom levels, 2 different audio sources. That's what he was talking about. But he always gets a kick out of that. It's, it works out really well for being mobile. I didn't have to be that mobile at the Creative Summit, a little bit. I had a GoPro on my jacket for some times. I had just so it kind of films everything. And the good thing about having the GoPro here is it picks up audio just like a lapel microphone. So anytime I talk, it picks it up really, really clearly. But I use that some of the time. I had 2 iPhones, iPhone 15 Pro Max, iPhone 16 Pro Max, and then I had my Lumix S5 Mark II X to film in any situation where there was low light, which sometimes it's been that way at the Creative Summit. Even though it's lit for the audience, it's still a little bit low light. So when I filmed with my S5 Mark II X in 6K and my iPhone 16 Pro Max filming the same scene, as you might expect, the Lumix was superior to the iPhone. Not a surprise. It's not a surprise. The Lumix is a full-frame sensor and camera with incredible lenses. But when I filmed them side by side, now sometimes the phone has a more interesting picture because it sharpens and it's saturated, higher contrast and stuff. Sometimes, and the phone is great because I can just touch a button and I can flip through different zoom levels. But when I pulled up the Lumix video image next to the iPhone, the Lumix wins every time. But that's not a surprise. I use both. The iPhone's with me all the time. I film with it 80% of the time. I film with it. But the Lumix S5 Mark IIX is a fantastic camera as well. Panasonic. What else do we have before I can smell dinner out there. So this is one of the things. Now, let me just mention this since the Mac Mini was mentioned on our broadcast. This is the new thing that's happening, is this dock. Now, why is this staying up here? I'm not even sure. Let me see if I can get that the heck out of there. I'm not sure. Oh, there we go. Sticking up there. So this is one of the new things that's happening for the Mac Mini, and I'll be interested in one like from OWC or something. So it's a Super Thunderbolt 3 dock for Mac Studio and Mac Mini dock station. It adds USB-A ports. It adds audio jack. This one has and you can put your own NVMe SSDs in it. But one of the things that I want to see in one of these docks, first off, I want it from a reputable company. I buy stuff from Amazon all the time, but when you go back to contact people, if you have an issue, good luck. Good luck. You buy from somebody like OWC, you have a real person you can talk to. They can help you troubleshoot. But anyway, I'll probably get one of these eventually. But one of the things that I wanted to have is a little lever mechanism that turns the Mac Mini on and off. Because the button right now is on the bottom, of course. And, I got to lift it, turn it off. No big deal. I'm used to it. I mean, it's a little bit more troublesome than hitting my button on my MacBook Pro, but it's right there. I can just lift it up and press it. But I'd like to see one of these docks, since the Mac Mini is going on top of the dock. I'd like to see somebody rig up a little lever, even if it just sticks out from the back and you press it and it turns the Mac Mini on and off. I'd like to see one of these docks have that, plus NVMe, plus USB-A, USB-C, whatever else it has. I'd like to see one that has like a little lever that hits the on and off button. Is that a major deal? No, just a little convenient. It's obviously not a deal breaker for me, or I wouldn't have bought the Mac Mini to begin with. It's just a little weird, one of their weird things that Apple does design wise is you got to pick the Mac Mini up, turn it on and off if you turn it on and off. Now I do. I turn it on and off. I turn my computers on and off. I don't like the idea of them being on overnight in case there's any kind of an issue with somebody trying to hack in or something when I'm sleeping. It's just the way I am. Yeah, pressure plate with the pin under the power button would work exactly like just a little lever, like on the dock. It's on the dock, but it's a little lever, this little ball bearing on top that pushes the you know, it just sticks out a little bit and you push on it so you don't got to lift it up. It's not that big a deal, but it's just, it'd make it more convenient. So in one of those dock situations, I'll definitely get one. You know, and especially if I can connect Thunderbolt 5 to the NVMEs and I get the kind of speed I'm getting out of this OWC, that would be fantastic. So you definitely want to give the Final Cut Pro team, the Pro Apps team, thank you. They watch these live streams. Thank you very much for Final Cut Pro 11. I think you'll get us Final Cut Pro 11.0.1 out, a bug fix out before you go on Christmas vacation. There's a few bugs, as you know. I've reported some. So if we can get them before Christmas vacation, that'd be cool. Do you know or have any experience with animation software? I do not. I do not. Here's what I don't have experience with, or limited experience with. I don't have any experience with animation. Motion. I like Motion a lot as an app. $49, it's hard to beat. I love their keyframe editor for doing sophisticated keyframe animations. It's really great. Some other things I really like. I like their HUD system where you have floating HUDs to access things rather than going up to the inspector constantly back and forth. I like that a lot. I like their stacking order it's like a Photoshop file where you can stack things, and there's a lot of things I like about it. I don't have time to learn it. I had spent all my time in Final Cut, some time in DaVinci Resolve Studio, and also I like LumaFusion a lot. I got an iPad Pro mainly for LumaFusion. So I really, really like editing with it, with the pencil on some things with LumaFusion. $9.99. LumaFusion is $9.99, 66% off. Yeah, 66% off. After tonight, it'll be $29.99. $9.99, you can't beat it. Just buy it and thank me later. I don't care if you don't use it for a month or 2 months. Just buy it at $9.99. It's a great, great price. What else do we have? So we talked about ADD. We talked about the SSD drive, speed test. Captionator from our friends Intelligent Assistants. We'll do one more. Some of our friends. Ripple Training still has 40% off. Still has 40% off. They're calling it Cyber Week. Let me take that off. That's ADD's BF24 is for Audio Design Desk. So Black Friday 40 right now for our friends over there, Mark and Steve over there at Ripple Training. Absolutely. Luke, I met Luke at the Creative Summit. The reason I didn't recognize you, Luke, is because your beard isn't. See the way it's dark in your icon? And your beard wasn't that dark. It was like more grayish or whitish. So I didn't recognize you when you walked up. But Luke was over there with his son at the Creative Summit. Had a fantastic time. Hung around with each other for whatever. And here we go. I asked the Final Cut Pro team if they plan to speed up their update releases. Bill responded with a slight smile. I don't think they're going to speed it up. I think they just do what they do, and that's what they're going to continue doing. DaVinci Resolve Studio is still on sale, confirmed. So it's 20% off DaVinci Resolve. As a matter of fact, I even have that over there. Let me see something. Yeah, I have this is DaVinci Resolve. So they're still 20% off. I love DaVinci Resolve. I like it as much as I do Final Cut. I use Final Cut for the most part, but I use Final Cut as my first go-to, but I still like DaVinci Resolve and LumaFusion. So people were wondering, do we still use FCPX for a hashtag now that Final Cut Pro 11 is out? No, we do. FCP 11 is the hashtag for Final Cut Pro 11. FCPX is for Final Cut Pro 10, which is the past. It's behind us. And FCP 11 is the hashtag for Final Cut Pro 4, Final Cut Pro 11 going forward. Of course, you can use FCPX still. It's been around for a long time, so it really identifies generically Final Cut Pro. And so if you saw a year ago when they did the Scary Fast event, Apple did, you remember Tim Cook coming out from the spaceship campus? I found the spot. That's me at the Creative Summit standing in the same spot that Tim Cook was when he did the Scary Fast event. I found it. I was walking by and I said, wait a minute. I recognize that spot. That's where Tim Cook was for Scary Fast, so I went there. Tim and I are good friends anyway, right? He calls up all the time, so just a joke. Just a joke. Just a joke. For anybody who wants to take me serious, don't be ridiculous. All right, everyone. I think we've been on long enough. What do you think? For today, I don't think, it doesn't look like Final Cut's going to be updated today. I just wanted to check and see if it was, because it's going to be updated between now. We'll probably get 11.0.1 between now and Christmas. That's just what I think. I did predict Final Cut Pro 11 in May of last year. I predicted Final Cut, it was going to jump from, in May of last year, Final Cut Pro was at 10.7. 10.8 came out in June, but in May of last year, I said we're going to jump from 10.8 to 11 in less than 6 months, probably at the Creative Summit. I said that back in May of last year, and that's exactly what happened. Next time, now I'm saying we're going to see 11.0.1 bug fix between now and Christmas, because a lot of times when a big update comes out, of course, there's bugs that they have to squash, and I think they'll do it so they can relax over the Christmas holidays. They don't have to worry about it. Get these bug fixes out. So between now and the next 2 or 3 weeks, anytime, we'll see 11.0.1. Next time, I'll try to walk around Apple Park. Absolutely. It was great seeing you, Luke. Great meeting you. Hopefully you can make it next year if there is going to be a Creative Summit, and I suspect there is. This one was so successful. It was just really, really good. All right, everyone. I am going to get out of here. I'm going to give everybody a thumbs up for tuning in. We'll be on Saturday at our normal time, Final Cut TV and Coffee. Unless there's an update to Final Cut Pro this week, it would be likely on Thursday if there is going to be, but it's probably going to be the next week or the week after. We'll get 11.0.1. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. This is for all of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And this is also for, this one will do the Final Cut Pro team with balloons this time. Thank you, Final Cut Pro team. They watch this live stream. Thanks for giving us Final Cut Pro 11. It's been rock solid for me on with my Mac Mini. Let me just see how hot that is. Yeah, it's definitely getting hot running all this stuff. Let me just check something and see what I have. Yeah, the fans are now up to 6%, from 4% per 6%. Sean Beckner says, take care, Richard. Of course, take care. Thank you. Thank you, Sean. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Isn't this a great community? This is a great community. I love getting online, talking to the world about the Final Cut Pro community. We've been on, this Saturday will be Final Cut TV and Coffee number 93. Don't forget to subscribe and like over there at the YouTube channel. That's where most of my activity is, but on X, it's on X as well, and it's on Facebook. Absolutely. It's everywhere. We're everywhere. We're taking over, but I love having the Final Cut Pro community. You guys and gals are the best. Tuning in, get to talk about Final Cut Pro. Really, it's been a long run and still going. We've only been here for 2 years on Final Cut TV and Coffee, but I've been on, of course, been doing live streams. Started with Google Hangouts years ago. I have tons of those recordings that I've kept over the years. But anyway, thanks, everybody. I hope you had a good Thanksgiving for people in the United States. Look forward to having happy holidays, Merry Christmas. If you celebrate Christmas or whatever holidays you celebrate, I'd celebrate Christmas. I love Christmas. It's fantastic. And we will see you if Final Cut Pro 11.0.1 comes out Thursday. I'll be back on Thursday just to talk about it, see what bug fixes. It'd be nice if they gave us a little feature update as well. That'd be very cool along with the bug fix, but I don't expect that. I think just a bug fix at this point. And if not, Festivus, absolutely. Can we do offline on LumaFusion and online on Final Cut Pro? Absolutely, you can. You absolutely can. You have to buy the add-on pack with LumaFusion, but LumaFusion is only $9.99 right now. Till the end of today. After today, it's going to be $29.99. You're saving $20. Go get LumaFusion for $9.99, and then you can buy the FCP XML export pack, and you can export back and forth to Final Cut Pro from LumaFusion. Absolutely, you can, if you want to do that. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to everybody. We'll be back Saturday, if not before, probably. I don't really expect the update this week, but I thought I'd just mention it because it could come out at any time. They could update Final Cut Pro. But anyway, Merry Christmas. Well, not Merry Christmas yet, but celebrate the season. Everybody, we'll see everybody Saturday. Thanks each and every one of you. I'd love to see import watch folders in Final Cut Pro. Absolutely. I've seen that feature requested more than one time. Thanks, everybody. We got comments from X and Facebook and YouTube. All the comments are working. This is Ecamm Live that I use. That's why I like it so much. It's a great app for live streaming. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. I will see you, if not before, I'll see you Saturday on Final Cut TV and Coffee. Thanks, everybody.